Sorry this video is taking so long, but this map was gatekeeping all the spawns for me. And with that being said, if this video helps you at all, please hit that like and subscribe button. Anyways, let's get into this dam guide. For those that haven't ventured onto dam, this map is full of wide open areas with plenty of verticality. Pretty much anywhere you are, you'll be looking up and getting into fights at range. In my personal experience, weapons that can truly reach out and touch people are your best option. For this video, I will be covering all the major POIs, which are Clifton, Barbershop, Factory, Camp, Power Room, Broken Bridge, Dock, and Firewatch Tower. Additionally, I will be covering every key spawn, vault, and high value loot location I am currently able to prove still exists. Let's get started with Clifton. Clifton is the small town neighborhood area on the southeast portion of the map. Between Broken Bridge and Clifton, you can find a tent surrounded by concrete walls right next to the ocean. Within this tent, you can find a wooden crate and 2 ammo boxes. As you head southeast from this tent, you will see a large brick building at the top of the hill. This building is called Ellie's Shop and contains the Ellie's Shop vault on the top floor. Within this building, you can find a little dude spawn, an armor crate, 2 lockers, a weapon crate, and various household item spawns. There is also a rumor that a high value item spawns in this building on one of the windowsills, but I personally have yet to see it. Within the Ellie's Shop vault, you can find a safe, a med box, 2 desk drawers, and various food water spawns. If you head straight across the street from Ellie's Shop, you will find a building with 2 floors. If you head into the first floor and take a right, you will find a room with a desk. On the desk with ledges around it, you can potentially find the key to Ellie's Shop. On the flat portion of the desk, you can sometimes find food and water spawns. In the next room over, towards the doorway, you will find a wooden crate, a suitcase, and some household item spawns on the shelves. I will say I came into this guide thinking most spawns are similar, and because the Metro guide was my most recent one, I really thought suitcases would hold the hidden keys. I was wrong. In some ways, Dam seems to defy everything I thought I knew about the loot system in this game. In the room on the far left of the door, you will find a desk side dresser, a medic box, a lootable desk, and 2 white desktop drawers. In addition, you can sometimes find high value item spawns on the desk. I did not find it through the course of making this video, but the first raid I ran after the video was done. I saw a sheriff's badge pop there. If you head outside the building towards Broken Bridge, you can find a staircase leading up to the second floor of this building. In the first room on the left, you can find some junk item spawns on the shelves and a TV. Make sure you're checking the tops of TVs because they can sometimes spawn GPUs. In the next room over, you will find some shelves with junk item spawns. The third room is weirdly empty and has one single wooden shelf that spawns more junk items. The last room on the second floor has a lootable desk that spawns various weapon attachments, as well as the potential for helmets and armor that spawn on the couch. Next to this building, you can see an area with 2 bells. Behind the white wall holding up the 2 bells, you can find a single junk box. Next to the bells, you will see a red building. This building has 1 wooden crate and several junk spawns inside. Across the street, you will find a building with a sign that says Gentleman Club. Don't get it twisted, this ain't no strip joint. This building is basically a little market and you can find various food and water spawns throughout. Right outside of this building, if you look back across the street, you will see a windmill. This is one of the 2 windmills you need for a quest. If you head southeast from this windmill, you should see the church. Behind the church is the location for the other windmill you will need to mark. Within the church, you will find a helmet armor spawn, a weapon case, 2 ammo crates, grenade spawns, and sometimes guns. Southwest of the church is a small shed, and within that shed you'll find a single junk box. Southeast of the little shed is an area with a large yellow tank and some blue shipping containers. If you jump on the wood propped on and around the shipping containers, you can find a high value item spawn, a junk box, and some junk item spawns. Across the street you can find a red shipping container, which has an armor crate inside. In the same area you should see a wooden shack in the center, and inside of the shack you can find a weapon case and an armor box. If you head south up the road, you should find some concrete cylinders and a forklift. In this area you will find a few junk item spawns. Even further up the road is a blue truck with a red container. In that red container there's a single wooden crate. Southwest of this truck on another road is another blue truck with a red container. In the back of that truck you can find a safe with a potential high value loot item spawn. Make sure you're paying attention because you can make some serious money in this area to hopefully chip away at the massive ammo costs. If you head to the front of the truck, you should see a house with a green stripe on the bottom floor. On the first floor of this building, you will find a suitcase and a junk box. On the second floor, you will find a suitcase, a lootable bedside drawer, a weapon case, a little dude spawn, and a potential high value loot item spawn. When I am on my way out of raid on this side of the map, I always make sure to hit these 2 areas because they are on the way out and can pay an easy 200k plus. Directly across the street from this house, you can see another little shed. Within this little shed, you will find a junk box. Staying on this side of the street and heading back down the road, you will see a white building with 2 red side rooms. To me, this looks like a firehouse, but honestly call it whatever you want. Within this building, you can find 2 desktop drawers, 2 lockers, and a junk box on one of the roofs. Heading out the front of the firehouse looking building, you should see a greenish gray house. Within this house, you can find a wooden crate, a weapon case, a lootable bedside dresser, and various junk item spawns. When you check this house, there are 3 TVs. Make sure you check the tops of each of these TVs for potential GPU spawns or other high value electronics. Next to this house, you can find a 2-story house. On the first floor, you will primarily find junk spawns. On the second floor, you will find more junk item spawns and another TV to check for those sweet GPU spawns. If you leave the house and head back across the road, you should see the Clifton sign. I know the map says Clifton, but look at this sign, bro. It says Clifton, alright? Directly next to the sign is a yellow and orange brick house. In this house, you can find more TVs to check, as well as a wooden crate and a med crate upstairs. The greenhouse directly next door has various junk item spawns, as well as a single wooden crate. The grocery store can be found next to the greenhouse, and within this building, you can find various food and water spawns. The yellow house at the end of the road has no openable boxes, but has a few junk item spawns, as well as another TV to check. If you head towards Barbershop from the end of Clifton, you can find a red house somewhat separated from the town. The only thing in this house is a bunch of grass and a single junk box. Next to this house is another red container truck. This one has a single armor crate in the back. That's pretty much all there is to know about Clifton. Next, we'll cover the Broken Bridge area. To be completely honest with you guys, I had no idea this was even named this, and I just call everything in this valley Dam. These bridges are required for a task where you have to visit the top of them and mark the bottoms of both sides. If you haven't completed the quest yet, remember that. I know a handful of people who only brought enough trackers for the one side. On the top of the southwest bridge, you can find a single suitcase. If that suitcase isn't enough for you because your beloved goth girlfriend has 6 outfits packed per day, you're in luck, because there are 3 more suitcases in the lower part of the valley between the 2 broken portions of the bridge. If you head up the valley towards the dam, you can find a small camp. If you need to mark the tanks for a quest, one of the 3 tanks is located in this camp. Within this camp, you can find an armor crate, a weapon case, a few ammo crates, a grenade crate, and some other junk item spawns. This is pretty much all that is down here, hence my earlier confusion on why this is even a named POI. If you continue moving up the valley, you will hit Power Room. Power Room is the concrete building on the same side of the valley as the camp. Outside of this building, next to the trash cans, you can find a single junk box. If you move into the building from the door near this junk box, you will find a room with a red toolbox and an armor crate. If you check near the red toolbox, you can also find a key spawn. It can be difficult to see, but there is also a staircase leading up in the dark corner at the back of the room. If you stay on the same floor and move into the middle room, you will find 2 large generators. On the top of these generators, you can find an armor spawn, as well as a high value item spawn. Moving into the next room, you will find 2 lockers, as well as another staircase in the dark corner of the room. If you head up these stairs and head left, you will find a room that looks like a control room. There are a few junk item spawns, as well as a locker in this room. Past this room, you can find another staircase as well. If you head up this staircase, you can find an office with various junk spawns on the desk, 2 white desktop drawers, and a potential high value loot item spawn on the shelf behind the desk. If you head back down the stairs and into the middle of the building, you will find a balcony overlooking the generators on the first floor. In this room, you can find a toolbox and a junk item spawn. You can also use this area to overlook the generators in case you built like a goblin and couldn't see over the top of the generators when you were on the first floor. Passing through the middle room, you can find a side room with a med box, a wooden crate, and some shelves with various junk item spawns. Heading out right from this room, you can find a staircase which takes you up to a room with a junk box and some various junk item spawns. Outside of this room, you can find a toolbox, a beer, and some more junk items. If you head towards the actual dam itself, you will find some stairs. In the first little area at the top of the stairs, you will find a toolbox and a little junk item spawn. Continuing to the top level of the dam, you can find an armor box and a weapon case between the concrete walls, as well as an electronic spawn in the open room at the end. The area 1 level down from here has several large cylinders, but there are no spawns in this area. 1 level down from there, you will find a loot room that used to be kinda goated, but since one of the recent updates, it's been nerfed. On the metal table outside of the cage, you can find a junk item spawn as well as some white desktop drawers. If you head into the cage, you can find an armor crate and a weapon case, as well as several junk item spawns. If you head down the wooden ramp on the red containers, you can find some stacked wooden boxes that have a toolbox and some junk items. Between the little concrete ramps, you can find a nook blocked by green containers. In this nook, you can find 2 open weapon cases. If you head up onto the bridge, you can find a couple junk boxes, as well as a high value loot spawn in the back of the crash truck. Additionally, you can also find the dam boss in this area. He's relatively easy to kill and drops a level 4 helmet and a level 4 armor painted with a skull design. At some point, you have to kill him for a quest. While we're talking about the ops, let's go over to the barbershop and see what they're saying about Chief Keef. In the actual barbershop itself, you can find a weapon case, a wooden crate, some junk item spawns, and a high value loot spawn. It's been a while since I found this spawn, so I can't remember the exact spot, but check around when you're in here and you'll eventually find it. Across from the barbershop, you can find a gray concrete building. Within this building, you can find a variety of junk item spawns, a few toolboxes, a weapon case, and a wooden crate. If you need the globe for the quest, make sure you check next to the wooden crate, as it can be found there. From the barbershop, we can move to the camp, which is the top dam area. In the front inlet on the east side, you can find a wooden crate, a toolbox, a weapon case, and some junk items. The back inlets on both sides are locked vaults. If you're looking for the medical folder for a quest, you can find it on the square electric box next to the east inlet door. Inside the east inlet vault, you can find a weapons case, 2 lockers, a safe with a potential key spawn on top, and a shelf with a few grenade spawns. In the red truck right next to the east inlet bridge, you can find a junk crate. And if you check along the fencing near the dam, you can find another junk crate. If you check the red container truck at the end of the dam towards barbershop, you can find a weapons case. In the front inlet on the west side, you can find an armor crate, 2 ammo crates, a toolbox, and some junk item spawns. spawns. In the back inlet of the west side, you can find another locked vault area. Within this vault, you can find an armor crate, a safe, 2 lockers, and various other item spawns. Moving down to the actual camp, we'll start with the green tents nearest to the barber shop. If you are still looking for the VR headset on Dam, you can find it on the top of the tent closest to the barber shop. You have to jump up onto the blue containers and hop around on tops of the tents to get to it. If you're having trouble finding the right tent, it is the one with a weapons case, 2 ammo cans, and the high value loot spawn. Straight out of this tent is another tent with a grenade crate. The blue containers in this area don't spawn any loot, but check the tops of the wooden boxes in the area as you can find a few junk spawns. Also, while you're in the area, check some of the drainage grates along the wall towards factory. Some of these grates can drop high value loot items. The next set of tents we can cover is the one between the 2 inlet towers. The tent in the corner closest to the dam has a med crate as well as some junk item spawns. Heading towards factory from this tent will take you into another tent where you can find a weapon spawn on the table and an armor crate in the middle. In the tent on the west side, you can find an armor box, a weapon crate, and 2 ammo cans. This set of tents also has the second tank you need to mark for the quest I mentioned earlier in the broken bridge section. The tent that is parallel to the dam has a toolbox and 2 desktop drawers. If you head towards factory from this particular camp, you'll see a small shed with a green stripe. Inside this shed, you can find a single junk box. The next set of tents we will cover is the one between Firewatch Tower and the west inlet. You can identify these ones by the large white water storage container. In the tent nearest to the dam, you can find 2 desktop drawers and some junk item spawns. The other tent in this area has a weapons case as well as some more junk items. The last tank you need can be found in the other sets of tents identified by the large green propane tanks. If you look directly next to this tank, you can find a weapons case. In the tent closest to the tank, you can find a grenade crate as well as a medic crate. Within the more triangular looking tent in this camp, you can find another grenade crate as well as some more junk item spawns. The rounded tent right next to this one has an armor crate, a weapons case, and 2 ammo cans. If you head up the hill from this camp back towards Dam, you will see a little building right next to the road. If you check in this building, you will find 2 lockers. The shed right behind this building does not spawn anything as far as I'm aware. If you head back towards the Firewatch Tower, you will find another shed. This shed has a single junk box inside. Firewatch Tower is a spot you want to hit if you get the chance. There is a weapon crate, a wooden crate, a key spawn, and a high value loot spawn in here. If you're having a hard time finding the key and the high value item, check the top of the TV. Heading directly southwest from the Firewatch Tower, you should see some electric towers around an area with a concrete pad. Check this pad around the stacked wooden boxes as you can find a junk box, a wooden crate, and some junk item spawns. I've been told you can find high value loot items somewhere in this area as well, but I personally haven't seen anything. Let's get away from the buns loot found around the camp and take a look at factory. Factory is divided into 4 sections: A, B, C, and D. Section A can be identified by the tall brick building near the smokestacks. Factory building A1 is on the west side of the factory and has 2 lockers, a toolbox, and a variety of junk spawns. If you head up the stairs in this building, you will find the factory A zone vault. This vault has 3 lockers, an armor crate, a weapon case, a safe, 2 ammo cans, and 2 grenade crates. Building A2 is to the east of the building A1, and it is connected by a bridge on the 2nd floor. In this bridge, you can find a suitcase. On the 1st floor of A2, you can find a junk box, a toolbox, and various junk item spawns. On the 2nd level, you can find a suitcase, an armor crate, 2 ammo cans, a weapon case, and 2 grenade crates. The top floor of this building used to drop high tier armor and backpacks pretty often, but it seems like this has been nerfed recently. The armor and backpack spawns are still up there, but they drop lower tier items more frequently. While you're up here, you can also find 2 lockers near the stairs. Between building A1 and A2, you can find a red container truck. Within this truck, you can find an armor crate and a wooden crate. B zone is in the south side of the factory. If you're having issues finding it, check directly across the street from the smokestacks outside of A-Zone. The first building in the B-Zone is essentially a loading dock. In the front of this building towards A-Zone, you can find one of the 2 forklifts needed for the Mark II forklifts quest. In the loading dock area of this building, you will find a red container truck backed all the way in. If you look in the back of this truck, you can find a safe that has a high value loot spawn. Right in front of the truck with the safe, you will see another red container with the opening towards the building. This container has a wooden crate inside. Further down the actual loading dock, you will see another red container that is partially suspended by a crane. You can jump and vault into this container to find a weapon case. This building also has the B-Zone vault in the upstairs area. To get into the vault, find the stairs on either side of the building and they'll take you to the door. Within factory B-Zone vault, you will find 2 weapon crates, an armor box, 2 ammo cans, a safe, and various junk spawns. On the east side of the loading dock, you can find 2 open red containers. One of these containers had a wooden crate and the other has a suitcase. D-Zone is the green stripe building across from the B-Zone loading dock heading east. Within this building, you can find a toolbox as well as various junk item spawns. From this building, if you head east towards the wall, you can find a few more junk item spawns, as well as an open red container. Within the open red container, you can find a busted safe that has a high value loot item. Between the D zone and the C zone, you will find a red container truck. This container truck has a grenade crate inside. C zone has 3 brick buildings. The first building is a brick building with a blue stripe and blue doors directly across the street from building A2. Within this building, you can find a variety of junk item spawns, as well as the second forklift needed for the marking forklifts challenge. If you head east from this room, you will find a wooden wooden crate, and a junk box in the hallway connecting this building to the next one. The next room has 2 lockers, a toolbox, and various junk item spawns. North of this building, you will see another hallway that leads to the 3rd C-Zone building. In that hallway, there are 2 suitcases. The 3rd C-Zone building has a ton of junk item spawns, 2 lockers, a toolbox, and 2 weapon cases. If you are looking for the second medical report on Dam, you can find it on the southwest corner of the 3rd C-Zone building. It's sitting on top of a wooden box stack. There are so many junk item spawns around Factory that I can't possibly cover them all and expect this video to be anything less than an hour. So take a look around at all the environmental props in the area and you will find tons. Now let's cover the absolute bear that is docks. Stick with me as I do my best to keep this as simple as possible. Starting on top of the concrete structure, you can find a tall crane. This crane has a ladder that you can actually climb. If you're looking for the gold ingots on Dam, they are all 3 at the top of this crane. If that is you right now, I'm so sorry because climbing up and down this crane is top 3 most stressful video game moments I've ever experienced in my life. My advice to you is clear the area, make sure you don't hear any shots nearby, and send it when things seem calm. If you check the smaller orange crane, you can find a single junk box. Moving down into the concrete structure, you can find a weapon case on the 1st floor down from the top. Be sure you are checking the beams because there are 2 high value loot spawns on these beams. One is on the east side of the structure, 2nd floor down from the top, and one is on the west side of the structure, 3rd floor up from the bottom. If you're having trouble staying on the beams, just break one of your legs for smoother walking. Trust me, I did it. On the 2nd floor down from the top, you can find 2 lockers, a weapon case, a junk box, various junk item spawns, an armor crate, and a toolbox. On the next floor down, you can find a toolbox, an armor crate, a suitcase, a static backpack spawn, a weapon crate, various junk item spawns, and even a static grenade spawn. If you're having issues deciphering my explanation for the west high value loot spawn, it is on this floor. Moving 1 floor down, you can find a weapon case, an armor crate, a static helmet spawn, a toolbox, 2 lockers, a grenade crate, and various junk item spawns. The bottom floor of the structure doesn't really have much loot. If you head northeast from the structure to the blue fence, you will find a tent with a toolbox and a wooden crate underneath. West of the staircase that leads down to port, you can find one of the forklifts you need to mark for a quest. This quest is different from the one in Factory. If you need to know which one you are on, check the details in the quest menu and it should tell you if you are marking them at port or Factory. If you look back at the concrete structure from this forklift, you should see some blue shipping containers stacked on each other. Next to these blue shipping containers is a stack of wooden boxes. These wooden boxes have an armor crate sitting up against them on the south side. Moving down the stairs towards the dock office, you will find a red, white, and blue market building right next to the south wall. This building is full of food and water spawns. Directly across the street from this building, you can find the dock office. If you enter the doorway straight across from the building, you should be able to walk into an area with a receptionist-style desk and wide doors. There is a little dude spawn on top of the receptionist desk, as well as a common water spawn. If you head from this room back into the hallway you passed through, you can head west to get into the first office. The desks in this office spawn a variety of junk items, as well as food and water. You can also find 2 lootable PCs, 2 desktop white drawers, and a little dude spawn on these desks. Make sure you are thoroughly checking these desks. Last I checked, these desks were spawning GPUs like crazy. Also, check the wooden shelves in the middle as there is a high value loot spawn on one of them. If you head north out of this office room, you will find a room with checkered floors and shelves all over the place. This room and the shelves act as spawn points for a variety of junk items. If you need bunker upgrade items, check this area. West of this room, you will find another office. This office has 2 white desktop drawers, a lootable PC, a variety of junk item spawns, food and water spawns, and even a key spawn. Again, be thorough with this area as you do not want to miss a potential key or a GPU. South of this office room, you will find a dark room that takes you to one of the staircases. At the top of the staircase, you will find a long room with several shelves. Most of these shelves spawn junk items, but if you're looking for the baseball camera, it can be found on one of these shelves. Before we cover the dock office vault, let's do a lap around the building. If you head into the room next to the staircase, you will find another office area. In this office area, you can find a lootable PC, various junk item spawns, food and water spawns, as well as a potential GPU spawn. Many of the desks in this entire building have a small percentage of dropping a GPU. If you see some kind of electronic item on the desk somewhere, you may eventually find a GPU there. On the shelves in the middle of this room, you can find even more junk item spawns. If you head through the door on the south corner of this room, you will find a hallway with 2 lockers. Directly across from the 2 lockers, you can find a doorway that leads to another room. This room is identified by 2 long tables in the middle. These tables spawn a variety of decent items. Most of the time, you will find food and water items, weapon attachments, grenades, and weapons themselves. On a few occasions, I have even found GPUs on these tables. Along the walls of this room, you can find 3 med boxes as well as a couch. Make sure you check the couch because there is an armor spawn that has hooked me up more than a few times in the past. North of this room, you can find a little office. This office hits like a vault sometimes. Within this room, you can find a little dude spawn, a key spawn, a potential GPU spawn, and a few high value loot item spawns. The little dude spawn and the key spawn are on the computer desk. The potential GPU location is on the shelf directly next to the door, and the 2 high value loot spawn locations are on the windowsill in the corner and the shelf directly behind the computer desk. Heading west from this office, you will cross a balcony where you can find a suitcase. If you pass over the balcony area, you will find that you are back in the room at the top of the stairs. If you look at the wall on the west side of the building, you should see the dock office vault. This vault contains an armor crate, a safe, 2 black filing cabinets, a weapon case, as well as some weapon attachment spawns. The last lootable portion of this building is on the roof. On the roof of this building, you can find a weapon crate, a suitcase, and an armor crate. East of the dock office, you can find another market building where you can find various food and water items, as well as a med box. Aside from some odd and end boxes in the cargo container area east of the market, the last major things you should know about on port are the forklift locations and the TruePix trucks. The second of the dock forklifts can be seen near the dock office in front of the water. If you've forgotten, the first one was found near the concrete structure up the hill. If you're still looking for the 3 TruePix trucks, you can find 2 in the area of docks surrounded by red shipping containers. The last of the 3 trucks can be found at the end of docks on the east side following the road towards Broken Bridge. Hopefully including the key spawns and the high value loot spawns in the flow of the video helps you out a little bit more. But just in case it didn't, I will pop up the high value loot item spawn and key spawn graphics as a quick reminder. Sorry this video took me so long, but deciding on the direction I wanted to go with the video put me in a stun lock state for a bit. Plus the updates to the map and the sheer amount of loot areas, I really wanted to cook up something that would truly help you guys. If it helped you at all, it would be greatly appreciated if you'd hit one of those buttons under the video to help YouTube shotgun blast my videos into the unsuspecting face of someone else, just like it did to you.